Alright, here we go. We've got, this is our first homework, so this is Chapter 2, 2.1, number 5, and basically what I'm doing is I'm taking pictures of the problems, so I'll try to do as best I can on the problems. This one, unfortunately, got bleeded out a little bit. So this is getting a flu shot. Flu as in glue, right? Shot. And that's 25%. And then this is taking vitamins, and that's 12%. Okay, so what is the most common approach? What percentage population chooses this method? The most common approach, of course, is washing your hands, 61%. So that's A. And you don't get to do this in your book, but I get to do it since I'm just showing you how to do this on here. What is the least used approach? What percentage chooses this method? The least used approach for beating the flu is drinking orange juice. While that's great, you're getting lots of vitamin C. You need more than that, apparently. At least what people think. What percentage of the population thinks flu shots are the best way to beat the flu? 25% think that flu shots is the way to go on that one. So there's number 5. Number 6, cosmetic surgery. When I first read this problem, I looked through all these numbers, and then I read A. It says women had 1.35 million cosmetic surgeries. What percent were tummy tucks? And I wanted to add these up because I thought this doesn't look like 1.35 million. So let's add these up and see what the totals are first of all, because we might need that later on as well. So if I add these up, and then 128,000, and I've got my calculator here on the side, I get 1,012,000 even. So that's actually 1.012 million. Okay, which is not 1.35 million. So what's the difference? Is there a mistake here, or what's going on? Well, the difference between 1.012 million and 1.35 million is those are a whole bunch of other plastic surgeries that aren't listed on this chart here. Whatever they might be. So if we've got, so back to the question at hand. Actually, we just answered part C. How many surgeries are not accounted for by the graph? Oh, we got 1.35 is 1,350,000 minus 1,012. Right? That's how many actually got plastic surgeries on our chart. Or these 5. That's this one. And that's the total. So if we subtract those two, so I'm going to do 1,350 minus 1,012. And I get 338,000. So there were, not dollars, surgeries not accounted for by this on this graph, or by the graph. So that would be part C. Okay, so back to A. We've got 1.35 million cosmetic surgeries. What percent were tummy tucks? Well, that would be 128,000 divided by 1.35 million. That's 1 million, and then 350,000. That's 1.35 million. And then we do that. So 128,000 divided by 1,350,000. And I get 0.0948. So if I round that to the nearest, well, I can go 9.48 or 9.5%. Okay, to the nearest half percent is good. Now, something to think about if you're familiar with this or not, and I just kind of made an assumption that you all knew that this million is 1.012 million. Think of it like this: 1,500,000. That's 1.5 million. So that would be 1.5 million. 1,750,000. We're getting closer to 2 million. That's 3/4 of the way. That's 1.75 million. So when I want to write it as a decimal, I can just replace this comma here with my decimal to write it, to think of it in terms of, well, how many million is that? So 1,120,000 would be 1.12 million. Okay. And then B, lastly, what percentage were for nose reshaping? That'd be 138 over 135,000. So that's going to be 138,000 divided by 350. Got 0.1022, which is 10.2%. Alright, we'll do one last one on this video, which is number 9. Divorce following graph represents the results of a survey conducted in 2010, which is a random sample. You guys need to make sure you read the directions so you know what the graph is about. Of adult Americans who asked, please tell me whether you personally believe that general divorce is morally acceptable or morally wrong. And we said depends on the situation. So that was roughly 8 or 9%. 22% say it's morally wrong, and 69% roughly said it's morally acceptable. So what percent believe divorce is morally acceptable? We just answered that. That's this number right here. So roughly, approximately 69%. So if there were 240 million Americans in 2010, how many believe that divorce is morally wrong? Well, we're going to go with, here we'll call that, say, 23%. So 23% think it's morally wrong, and there's 240 million, so that's 23% of 240 million. So how do we calculate 23% of 240 million? That's our multiplication, 0.23 times 240. So 0.23 times 240, I get 55.2 million. And as we just saw in the last video, if you didn't watch it, this is 55,200,000 adults think that divorce is morally wrong. And C, if Gallup claimed that the results of the survey indicate that 8% believe, or Gallup claimed that the results indicate that 8% of adults believe that divorce is acceptable in certain situations, would you say this statement is descriptive or inferential? Okay, so now we got to go back and read what exactly he's saying. Here's depends on the situation, and he's going with that's 8%. So the real question is, Gallup is saying that indicate that 8% of all adult Americans believe this. Well, what's the difference between descriptive and inferential? Descriptive statistics, or a descriptive number, is for a sample. Okay, it's numbers based on a specific sample, and that's what this is. Inferential, we mentioned this actually on the first day of class, is when we generalize to the population. So the question is, what is he doing here? Is he saying this 8% is from my sample, or is he trying to describe the whole population? And it sounds like he's saying it indicates that 8% of the whole population, all adult Americans. So he's trying to make an inferential statement. He's saying, hey, this represents the whole population. So it's inferential in this case. So that'd be part C. Because Gallup is making, it's an I, a general statement about the population. Alright, there you go.